Welcome back to the new episode of Twin Destiny, and our first sponsored episode, thanks to the generous folks at Movril. Movril, the hot, refreshing drink for cold mornings, warm days, with a meaty taste that's as magnificent for meat lovers as it is very tasty for vegans. Movril, where's the beef? So, The Taken King, we got a first look at that at E3 2015. It looks colourful as anything. We've got new classes, we've got a raid set on a massive dreadnought. The enemies look kind of a little bit negative and they're stuttering and disturbing. It looks like a massive adventure. Mr. Patrick Smith.
Hello.
What did you make of the E3 glimpse of Destiny, The Taken King?
Okay, what I made of the E3 glimpse of The Taken King, it was colours, it was explosions, it was new powers. I love the idea that Oryx is just stealing people and altering them into his army. That's really cool, because I think a lot of complaints I've seen about the long game of Destiny is you are fighting the same sort of four races over and over and over again, and this is going to put a whole new kind of spin. It might be the same sort of enemies but mixed up a bit, a whole new race of things to be shooting. I also am quite looking forward to seeing what stuff will be turning up in the Cosmodrome now. Just running around, oh look, there's horrible things
in advance of The Taken King.
Yeah, the same way the actually the wolves turned up.
Yeah, it's what, like the lead in and stuff.
Yeah. The lead is called like the Coming War or something, isn't it? That I'm very interested to see what happens on that. But yeah, like from a purely what they showed off thing looks astonishing. Like the dreadnought thing, that looked pretty as all fuck. Like, I want to run around there. That looked like that was in space, and it's
it
one
looks
thing to be
huge.
Yeah,
it looks fucking huge. And even that lead in that they did to it with where you got the kind of sparkle going down the ship, and you're like, okay, you're going to show me something huge. You're pulling out the camera. That looks like something huge. You're pulling out the camera. Oh, it's doing a little twirly thing. You're pulling out the camera. Fucking hell, that's a ship.
Yeah, it looks massive and magnificent and full of things. Obviously, as we're both back into the Destas at the moment, very much looking forward to what the new rep is going to be. Taken rep, I don't know what's that going to be. Can't wait because anyone who's well, only you really, but anyone who's played Destiny with me knows I'm all about that Crota rep at the moment. I need to be orange. I need that orange shader. It's all about the Crota rep.
Well, I'm now very, very close to getting liquid orange pants.
Bastard.
And that's really I don't know, something to strive for in life, really.
Well, I do have some magma pants in real life. You don't wear them often, only in winter. They're a bit much in summer. But yeah, no, Taken King looks fun. And the whole the fact that we're all getting another class as well to start from beginning with, which means we won't be able to double jump for a while. Oh, can't wait for that. Cannot wait.
So yeah, the warlocks seem to be going a little bit more Emperor Palpatine, and from the stuff that they said at E3, you could essentially walk into a room and not know what was there, unleash the Palpatine, and take out shitloads of stuff. But also because it is Mahusive electricity, it's difficult to see exactly what you're doing at times, which I think is quite a cool little quirk. Then for the hunter,
they get the bow.
Yeah, which there seems to be a delay on when you leap into the air, and if you time it right, you can one-shot an enemy. But otherwise, if you fire it at the floor, it will create a gravity well, and kind of these spidery kind of webby bits start pulling people towards it. And then the Titan is that flaming hammer that looks a bit...
Gives them like a melee option type thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how they're going to play into things, not just within the Taken King, but also how, going on previous bounties and previous missions, how it feels to use those in the missions that are already there.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm looking forward to seeing how the new powers and the new power setups as well sort of alter the way you play them. I mean, I know the Titan's always considered to be the sort of the tanky defensive class. The Hunter's more about all out attack. The Warlock seems to be more sort of supportive from what I can tell.
Has been previously, yeah.
Yeah, and just see them sort of mix that up and see the Warlock go full out crazy powers. See the Titan go all melee as well. It's going to be cool to see it all mix up a bit, and it's going to shake up the roles a little bit more. I'm looking forward to seeing how it changes things. Plus a whole bunch of new powers for you to see people use against you and be like, what happened? Why?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. Plus, I mean, it's interesting that our friend Timur Hussain, who works for GameSpot, went over to the E3 show and met up with GameSpot around the world and like the Australian folks and the American stuff. And he came back and he said that he's going to have to get into Destiny a little bit more because everybody over there was into it, they were talking about it, and he got a really good feel for the Taken King. Although he's come back, and I always see him signed in and playing Destiny, even though he's not been playing Destiny. And he says he came back and his brothers just leveled all the characters that were already there, just like up to play level 34. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's going to be cool to have some more playing. So we'll have to do a bit of co-op, I think.
Excellent. So, what did you think about the E3 stuff?
I got really excited about it, and I think that the trailer was superb. The vidoc that supported it was even better, and there was an interview. I think it was on GameSpot with one of the folks from Bungie, who genuinely seemed really excited for the stuff that was to come, but couldn't actually tell us a whole lot because they were holding sort of quite a bit back. So, which I really riffed upon. They did say that. I mean, as well as getting the release date, we got details that there'd be bonus stuff for year one players. Which I think has been topped up since then. But initially it was kind of there'd be a shader, a kind of icon thing, and a speeder bike. Looked like they're all kind of matte black as well.
Oh, which, that's a bit boring actually.
Don't know. The designs are really good. I think the black one of the icon has got like a wolf on it, which looks pretty cool. But I'd imagine they'd be quite neat in PvP.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, because you remember when, I mean, we'll come on to this a little bit later, but when we started playing PvP, I realised I was wearing ice white with light blue sort of trim, and I was like, maybe I should darken this down a bit.
Look at me!
Yeah, look at me, I'm advertising toothpaste! So yeah, the pricing structure was revealed.
So are we hitting the elephant now?
Well, there's a few sort of elephants to hit within this.
It's like a train of them. They're all holding each other's tails, one after the other.
Yeah, but I don't. I mean, this is the main bone of contention for me, and a lot of the people that were cracking into this from the US really aren't appreciating the sort of magnitude of being from Blighty and having this as well. So they announced that that the Taken King digital, purely just the Taken King expansion for those that have bought all the other stuff previously, is $40, but that's also £40,
which is not a very good conversion rate.
So the conversion rate of that is $40 is £25.41,
which is quite reasonable. Let's be fair.
Yeah, that's not too bad considering what we're getting.
Be okay with that.
considering the previous 2 expansions in a pass were 35 quid. That's for the size of what we're supposed to be getting for the Taken King. Fair enough. So the price conversion, $40 is £25.41. £40, which is what we have to pay, is $62.91. Now, if that had been revealed in the US, and rather than going, it's $40 purely for the digital stuff, they'd have come out in America and gone, right, the Taken King, just the digital pack, is $62.91. Fuck off. So why are we paying 40 quid for this when America's paying $40? I mean, I can understand it within the retail stuff because it's always been that bonkers that the price conversion for pounds and dollars just seems to apply for retail, but I've never known it to apply digitally in this kind of way.
Digitally's always been a bit more, if not brilliant, better at very least, like reasonable. It just seems like, I don't know, does it feel like you're being kicked in the cock?
That's the main bone of contention for me. No pun intended. No willy joke intended. Cool. But the retail disc containing Destiny, the Crota expansion, the House of Wolves expansion, is currently knocking around about for £45. So you're telling me that for 45 quid, I mean, amazing to get people in on the ground floor and get them caught up in this kind of way. I have no problems with that, especially at 45 quid. And I've mentioned before that a Game of the Year edition just makes sense for this, to get everybody on the level for with the new stuff, and to not having to be buying incremental steps to get to where everybody else is. Absolutely fine, and it's a sensible price for that. But there has to be a kickback in for those people that have already built up the other stuff. Plus, if somebody wanted to get into Destiny now, ahead of the Taken King coming out, surely if there were some decent prices for Destiny and the previous expansions now, people could start playing now and then just buy the Taken King. And if there was sort of a little bit extra, if it cost them a little bit more, they'd have had that game time beforehand, and they're probably arriving in the same place as we'll be arriving, around about 30 to 34. Yeah. So it makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
It seems insane that the best way, like, to get into it is to essentially, like, sell your copy of Destiny now and put that money towards the it's £5 difference. We found, like you say, we found the Taken King disc version, with all the extra stuff for 45 quid. And then 40 quid for that. It values Destiny in the first 2 expansions at £5.
Well, I mean, if somebody does trade in their copy of Destiny now, they're not going to get much for it anyway.
No, but they're not going to be able. Like the best way to get the most money for it to put towards it is to get rid of it now. If you are trying to scrimp and save, and if you're not in a position where you can buy as many games as you want to try and get the most money you can. And it sort of seems like the best way of doing it, if you are tight, is to get rid of it now.
Yeah, but I've seen Destiny brand new as little as £10. So that's the game collection, and it's possibly an import copy, but still, still plays on the machine. So fuck it. And even digitally, the price that they're selling, I think Desta's Crota and Wolves on PSN is nearly 80 quid.
Yep.
Digitally, which is fucking ridiculous. But speaking of that, there is a special edition as well with a strange coin, kind of a hollowed out book, and other bollocks, which also, and this was a point of contention for many people, also includes extra emotes, extra shaders, an exotic, and bonus XP. So folks kicked off at the price point, essentially the argument being having to pay $80 for a bunch of shaders, emotes and all that kind of gubbins. But again, the English to dollar rate on these things is fucked again. So
£80.
I mean, honestly, when I was looking at it, I was thinking, well, the retail version, the Taken King was at 40 quid. Then the retail version at that point, when it first went up, was 55 quid, but it's obviously dropped since.
Yeah.
And Game over here, and I think GameStop in the States, have got the special edition. And I thought, well, for the difference, I quite like my shaders and me dance moves and stuff. So you've got me. But the Taken King went up on PSN at £40 as a
which
pre-order.
we all said that's clearly wrong.
Yeah, well, the Xbox One version went up at $27.99.
Yeah.
At which point we all said, looks about right.
Oi, Sony, what have you done? You've messed your price up, and they were like, nah.
Well, we asked our friend and PSN secret agent Peter Cleaves to have a look into it. He said PlayStation was right and the Xbox was the mistake, and soon after the Xbox store pulled the DLC. So, I mean, all of this was kind of an incremental level of building.
But interestingly enough, the Taken King DLC is not currently available to buy on the PSN. It's there, but it's unavailable to do things with.
Right, I think this must be in reaction to... Because that's the point that it sits on the Xbox store as well.
It physically exists there, but you can't do anything with it.
I think this is waiting for the end result of what was to come, shall we say. So then the Tom Phillips Luke Smith interview went up and the internet exploded. So I'm sure everybody knows, but Eurogamer's Tom Smith did an interview with Luke Smith. Sorry, Eurogamer's Tom Phillips did an interview with Luke Smith of Bungie, who's apparently formerly of 1UP. So I think everybody's read this interview now, but it came off as extremely arrogant on Smith's part.
Yeah.
And to kind of generalise, there's been the intimation previously that with the emotes that were already there, that Bungie were money grabbing, and that but this just magnified exponentially after that kind of arrogance was viewed in the interview. I saw people on Twitter went bonkers that night.
It was bad.
I saw people saying they were trading in Destiny, that they weren't going to give any more money to that degree of arrogance, and that Bungie don't give a stuff about the fans. The internet. I mean, I leapt on Eurogamer, which is a place where people generally seem to be like, right, this is really great. I enjoyed this Destiny article, and the other half of people on the comment section going like, another Destiny article. It's like, well, if you're clicking on that article, there's going to be more Destiny articles because
well done.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a massive split in the. There's normally a massive split on these things anyway, but the comments were all kind of a mixture of, I'm really enjoying Destiny, I'll probably give him the money, but this guy's an arse. And the people that were going like, I told you in the first place, I played Destiny and I thought it was shit, and I always knew that Bungie had lost the plot, and this is Activision, this is Bungie, and it was just playing into the hands of the people that hated Destiny, and kind of convincing a lot of people that were really enjoying it as well. I jumped on Reddit, and the funniest thing was somebody going like, why don't you fire Luke Smith? It's like, well, the reason being he's responsible for the Vault of Glass, which is one of the most highly regarded bits of content that Destiny's got. I saw certain Destiny sites and fans defending Smith, intimating in certain circumstances that this could only be part of an interview. Somehow it was taken out of context, that Smith did nothing wrong, or that he was being stitched up. Tom Phillips came out and actually said that the interview wasn't nasty or off. It was more playful in tone than it had come across, even if some of the answers that were coming back were not the usual thing. I saw, again, Tamor from GameSpot was saying, like, why didn't somebody step in while this was going on? Because it's not the message that the Bungie needs to get across.
Why didn't someone shut him up? Like, because that, I mean, I've never seen, like you say, the internet just went ballistic as this went up, and I've had to read through it, and I felt insulted by it. You know, as I'm thinking, like, it's like you think I'm a mug. Like, you're going to see this emote and you're going to give us £80. Like, no, don't be silly. Like, I mean, like you say, it came across as so arrogant, you know, and it really sort of smacks of. I mean, the impression I got of the interview was like, you know, you're going to give us the money because you know you are, you know.
Well, there was the stuff in that interview where Smith was saying, like, oh, if Destiny had a golf clap, and if I knocked somebody off the ledge in the Vault of Glass, and I could do that golf clap emote, oh, I'd throw money at it, I'd buy it. And then somebody in the Eurogamer comment said, Bungie's already got this emote, and they cut it out of the game, which was interesting. And they actually posted up a GIF, and then somebody wondered if the dance that's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be in one of the special editions or not, if it was this dance that was shown like way in advance. They got Joe Staten playing Destiny when this dance was on there, and Joe Staten left Bungie prior to release, and it's alleged that the point that Bungie started carving up Destiny was the point that Staten left. So if it is that dance move, it's been there since what? That must have been.
I'm leaving and I'm taking my moves with me.
Yeah, well, it's, clearly that move's been found.
But here's what annoys me, right? So the emotes, right? Okay, they're fun, but didn't something arrive later where they said that they'll put up an extra pack you can buy to get those emotes and the shaders on their own for about? Am I mistaken here in thinking it was $20?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, we'll get. If we've got that, we'll come back to it. But I have things to say about that as well.
I mean, again on the night, I leapt onto Bungie's message boards and they just lit up. It was just ire, anger. Obviously, Bungie made a statement sort of the day after, promising to address matters in the weekly update. But when I went onto the Bungie forums the next day, you wouldn't believe there'd been an apocalypse. All of those threads have been deleted, which is fucking shite as far as I can tell. Like if you've got a message board and you're there to deal with discussion and anger and praise and all the colours of the paint box, you don't just start wiping those threads from existence just because things really don't go your way. That's bollocks. So thereafter, the Bungie weekly update came with an apology from Smith, promise of something better for early adopters from Bungie, and that the emotes and shaders could be bought for £20. So the apology was, I am Luke Smith, creative director on Destiny: The Taken King. Many years ago, I wrote to you each week in the spot. We talked about battle rifles, we talked about stuff we weren't going to talk about, and at some point I did a horrible hand drawing of an upcoming map and teased you with it in the weekly update. Anyone who knows me knows I can be sarcastic. Anyone who remembers podcasts I've done, that I can be pretty blunt, and anyone who's watched me in a vidoc knows I'm pretty unpolished. However, most of you don't know me. Reading my interview with Eurogamer and imagining it came from some random developer of a game I love, that random developer looks like an asshat. But that asshat was me, and those words rightfully anger you. I'm sorry. My words make it sound as if Bungie doesn't care about their most loyal fans. We do care, we are listening, and we will make it right. And here's what we're doing about the collector's edition of Destiny: The Taken King. So it then goes on from there. But what do you make of the apology?
See, I hadn't read it yet. I've heard it as you said it there. Yeah, it comes across as, like you say, he's a sort of a very unpolished, not PR bloke. He doesn't come. He doesn't sound like he's just reading off of a clipboard. He does sound like a human being.
Well, I saw him in the. There was some actually that trailer that was shown for the Taken King at E3 and the vidoc. I liked the bloke. He seemed like pretty funny, and he seemed sort of quite quirky. And in all honesty, we'll fuck up. And you don't know how many interviews he'd done that day, or if he was just trying to spice things up, or it just caught him off guard. I mean, seems a pretty honest apology to me. As much as kind of we'll snarled at that initial bit, fair enough.
Yeah.
And they, I mean, with the emotes and shaders being could be bought for, it's assumed they said around $20, right? Jumping onto XE currency converter again.
Let's have a look. Let's go. Jump. Okay, what
right.
we got?
$20 is £12. Right. If that's matching up with the other stuff, and it's £20, that's $31. We don't know this yet. They've just said, oh, we expect it'll be around like $20. If it is 12 quid, I'm not as fussed with 12 quid because I can go on to somewhere like CD Keys and I can get £15 worth of PlayStation credit for around about that price, which will give me £3 towards something else. So I'm not. I still think it's a bit of a stretch. If it is going to be £20 for those emotes on their own, and you're getting those on top of the Taken King, that's £60 for £20 extra. You can essentially have that box full of bollocks. With the hollowed out book and the
stuff,
plastic strange coin and whatever other postcards and other bits that they're putting in there. But for me, because I did get the special edition in the first place, that to me would sit along on my shelf quite nicely alongside it. But with that collector's edition, I'm pretty sure, with the first one, you got the pass for the next 2 lots of DLC.
Yeah, it was a thing, wasn't it? It was the collector's edition. Boom, you're in pack.
And this one doesn't have it.
No.
So
okay, so here's what I think about the pricing on the we'll call it the upgrade pack that's got the emotes and the shaders in it. It's been a lesson in context for me, because I'm quite tight. I'm quite a tight man. I don't like paying for DLC normally. I just don't. I'm very tight. I try and make my game stretch as long as I could. It's not like I'm not very poor. I'm just incredibly tight. Right. Assuming it comes out at £20, right? That's £20 for 3 animations, a couple of JPEGs, and a pair of trousers.
I like how you break it down into trousers. How British of you.
Probably a pair of trousers. And when I step back and look at that, that's fucking mental.
They're not
mental.
Yeah, I mean, it's again this kind of actually seems a little bit worse than
the emotes might be shit.
No, but this actually seems worse than the collector's edition for me, because at least you can say in that collector's edition you can reflect on the disc version. You can see the extra gubbins in there. You can see the box. You can see the other stuff, and I don't know how you price a colour, some trousers, and a bike, and an exotic, say, for if it is £20, you can balls. If it's £12, that's still something I'm going to have to look at and just go, is there anything else that I want that, say, where the higher up you buy, say, PlayStation credit or whatever, the more you get off it. And I've seen like PlayStation credit for like £50 worth of PlayStation credit for about £41 or something. That's where I'd kind of look at it and go, is there something else that I could...
Well, you do what I do and just stack it in and leave it there until you see something you want.
Yeah, is there a month where I'm not buying anything else, where I could essentially give myself, like, twist my arm and that? I mean, the problem being, like, through all of this was you've returned to Destiny, and we'll go into that in a little bit. And I fucking love your enthusiasm, and your enthusiasm's overtaken mine as to how into it you are. And when all of this cracked off, the thing that made my heart absolutely sink was, well, fuck it, this is the last time I'm doing with it. And I was saying to you, like, the amount of enjoyment, the amount of time, like the way that, I mean, since last September, the DLC in the main game that we've played, we put hours into it, more than one game, more than 2 games, and that's not just the solo stuff, but the co-op stuff, and that's still going. We are still playing, and the thought of you not picking up the new stuff genuinely broke my heart, because I fucking adore our time with it. I enjoy talking with you about these games anyway. That's why we do these podcasts. But the thought that there was going to be a full stop on that, especially
it's the worst part is that awful sort of dichotomy of it's really fun, but it's really expensive.
Yeah.
And it's that horrible. You can only answer that question yourself, can't you? You know, is it worth it to me? And I'm going to be doing some serious googling in the next couple of months before it comes out to see, you know, if there's a better way of getting hold of it, or if they do, you know, come out and the price does come out. 28 quid, all right, you know, all right, fine, but you can't put out the Taken King at £40 when the original game was £40.
Well,
you're not getting, and I know they say you're getting a level of content similar to the first game. Bollocks.
To be honest, with the stuff that they've said, if the previous two, I mean, a lot of folks looked at those previous packages and went like, what, 20? Well, they were 20 quid each on their own, weren't they? And there was the season, the kind of first part of the season pass, which was 35. And a lot of folks balked at the, are you getting value for money with those anyway? If you got two of those expansions for that price, if they were putting out the Taken King on its own around about 28 quid-ish, I don't think that's too unreasonable. No, I really don't. But the kind of the abyss that they've got, the gravity well, if you will, is that people are now, even folks that have been enjoying the game, are now looking very, very carefully as to whether they're going to pick that up or as to whether they're just going to wash their hands of it, because they wonder what's going to be, you know, what's going to be charged for further on down the line and how deep they're going to be.
Exactly.
Also, you could look at this stuff with the 20 quid for 3 emotes, 3 shaders, and a speeder bike. If that's a success, will Bungie then go, we're going to stick a new shader on the store for £5?
That's the worry. Are you going to encourage it being worse by going for this, or is this the point where you say, actually, no, that's not okay? And it's that, well, yeah, like you say, it's that worry of, are you going to be encouraging more like this? They're making it very, very hard to like Destiny. They're making it very, very hard for us to plan out. You know, I mean, the future's murky on it at the moment for me. It's worrying. The future is murky. You know, whereas the enthusiasm when I actually play it is a world apart from the stuff outside of it that you read on your computer screen. Like the stuff you read on your computer screen, you think, well, fuck that. You know, it's this horrible sort of, you know, like we say, this horrible balance of the game's really fun, but it's awful stuff on the outside, and it's how much you're willing to bite through that sort of praline wrapper to get to the nice ice cream inside.
Well, the history of video games has companies from PlayStation to Xbox to Atari to Sega, like so many people doing really well with something, and let's not forget that, like, they've got 20 odd million people that are still playing every day. So in the face of, you know, apathy from a lot of other folks, people are still playing the game. But if you take that for granted and you try and fuck those players over, they'll fuck off.
Yeah, and it's not like we haven't got choice these days, is it?
And if you lose your user base, you become Evolve. You become, I mean, as good a game as it is, you become Titanfall, where you're searching for games, or, you know, the user base just isn't sticking around. And the great thing about Destiny is there's still loads of people playing it. And that's that night that all the Luke Smith stuff hit, I jumped on there. There was no fucker there. It was as desolate as I've ever seen Destiny. Even, you know, in the drift between expansions and stuff, it was the quietest that I'd ever seen. I mean, it might have been the time of day that I went on, but still, it was just
saying that
bizarre.
After you told me that, I hopped on as well shortly afterwards, and I agree. It was, the tower was just devoid of life for once. It was weird to see it so quiet. I've never seen it so quiet. It was bonkers. Yeah.
So then we had a little while later, we had the sponsorship with Red Bull.
Oh God, I'd forgotten about that. Oh.
So deal with an energy drink brought further ire, and it grants access to a special level, as well as bonus XP items. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I actually find this slightly less evil, because how much is a can of Red Bull? Like £1? A quid for a level is a lot better than 20 quid for 3 friggin' animations and a colour. And you get a drink as well. So I don't think it's that terrible. I mean, it clearly feeds into the whole gamer meme of Mountain Dew, Doritos, Red Bull. When are we going to get our Doritos shader next? And your bright green Mountain Dew shader. Ho ho ho! But like, I don't think it's evil per se. It's the fact that it will come out later as well is all right. I think it should have probably been included in the Taken King as well. If you're spending £40 on the Taken King, but you haven't got it all because you don't want to buy an energy drink, that's a bit much. But I don't think it's terrible unless you have to buy one can for every time you want to play it. That would be evil.
I think as far as I can tell, the level once you've I don't know if the different codes in it give access to different things. Like I know that the item that you buy grants bonus XP for a certain amount of time, like the weapon synthesis. I mean,
I'll buy the drink and I'll pour the fucking drink away. The drink's horrible. Like I'll just get the code and pour the drink away. I don't want the drink. But like a quid isn't bad unless they do it like a random prize type thing. You know, you pop your cap up and you look under the cap and it's like, oh, you got.
That's what I wondered. Yeah, I mean, I could understand that.
That can die.
I could understand that. I can understand it if that is purely for the bonus XP item. You know, like the ammo synthesis type thing, but with a limited amount of time when you pop it in game that you get that bonus XP. But I'd like to think that if somebody bought one can that they'd get access to that level anyway, that it wouldn't be a random factor like a track to show me where you lie. But I mean, it's a two-way street on this. That if Bungie are on the front of Red Bull cans, that's advertising in supermarkets for their game as well. But you've got to maintain that balance with the way that you treat your user base. And again, I don't think that this doesn't particularly bother me at all. There's been previous stuff with Call of Duty with Monster and various gubbins, and if you don't want it, don't buy it. And I'd imagine maybe a bit further down the line when all this promotion's done, like they'll say, the Red Bull level's now going up as a free level or something.
Well, it is apparently. I think by Christmas, I think it will be available for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that to me doesn't seem particularly sinister. It's just an advertising deal. So I've got no problem with that at all. And maybe part of this pressure that for the price of content and stuff is part of the deal with Activision. Maybe they
do you think there'll be a Red Bull shader?
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Red, blue, and silver shader.
Future War Cult's almost that anyway, isn't it? A nice little Red Bull shader. I think that'd be quite funny.
Again, that wouldn't particularly bother me. I think they'll probably just do it whereby you get a silver, blue, and red shader. But,
and they'll call it like Give You Wings or something.
Yeah, it will be something like that, won't it? Sort of like I don't know, the angry bollock. I don't know. So I mean, to be honest, for my 2 penneth on this, I mean, I love my coffee, but I'm not really one for any energy drinks, I must admit. But I tell you what I do like, Movril. Movril's the vegan-friendly groovy paste that's also wonderful on toast. Try it with a fried egg or with beans and cheese on top. Movril, is there anything it can't do? Thankfully, Movril supplied us with some Cape Canaveral codes for spacefaring special prizes, and I've got one of the limited edition jars here. So,
okay, this is interesting. This is great.
This is an unboxing.
Okay.
Put on the radio. Well, thank you, Movril.
Sounded good.
Yeah. The first code, so if you want to note this down, is E3-20-50. E3-20-50. If you email that to twinhumanitiespodcast@gmail.com, you'll get a special prize. And there is a prize for everybody that enters. So I've just nearly dropped the jar.
It's a nice weighty thunk to it, though. Movril, it's quite a weighty product, isn't it?
Honestly, I could smell it when I took the lid off. It's beautiful. I can smell it on my fingers now. My keyboard's going to taste. Thank you, Movril.
Oh, Heavy, tasty, and reliable.
So, with our own forays into Desters since last time, we mentioned earlier that, I mean, you have gone through the roof with this.
Yeah. Oh, we're flipping the switch now, aren't we? This is the best part. So, yeah. I've recently, because we started doing Twin Destiny again, because I got back into it. And since the last show, I'm now gone. I'm now gone forever. I'm done. When I get home, the first thing I do when I've got free time is I turn on Destiny and I do my Crota bounties because I need to be orange. The first thing I do. Okay, I went at the weekend. Okay, I went up to a wedding. A good friend of mine from university, Gemma, got married up in Clitheroe in a field. It was lovely day. Lovely weekend. Long drive. It was a 6-hour drive up and a 6-hour drive back. It was a really good weekend. And I get back in and we get in the front door. And we unload the bags and Laura goes off for a nap because she's been driving for 6 hours. And the first thing I do is turn on the telly, put on Destiny, and go find Zer. First thing, before I even had a wee-wees. So yeah, I'm stuck again. Like, I am so back in, it's ridiculous. I am doing the dailies, doing the weeklies, messing around with as many different bounties, trying different things out as I can. I've got some exotics now, finally, which we'll get to later. Yeah, it just feels like I've jumped over another hurdle now. I've got what is considered to be hot gear now. So I feel like I can actually compete and actually hold my own again, which is nice, and that's given me the push as well to keep playing and playing and playing.
Because you see, at first when this enthusiasm kicked in, and you were like, "Oh, I've been on Destiny. I've done this and I've done this and I've done this." I was like, "Why is he playing Destiny without me?" It's like a jealous wife or a robot without the bandages for human love, yet having built up a need of compassion. But I get it. I mean, I always bollocked on about how I could do a bounty or 5 before work. I cracked the game on while listening to podcasts. And it was always as solitary as it was social for me. And I guess kind of this is the same with you, that you can chat to Laura while she's doing other stuff. You can shoot the mans in the head. You can... Is it that sort of thing?
I do enjoy. Well, I do enjoy shooting the mans. Once again, mans not having a good day of it. But like you say, I can just bang it on. It's almost like... Sometimes it's like background gaming. When you want to just play something, but you don't want to commit too heavily to a big, sort of decision-making kind of, grim world of, oh God, I'm going to die. Like, it's become sort of just bollock about in my spaceship and have fun game. There's a few levels now that I know I can probably do blindfolded. Okay. What's the one called? The one called the Fist of Crota from the Crota BLC. Because one of the bounties is kill 3 of the knights. 3 of the Hunt the Knights of Crota. That's the only place I can reliably find one now, because they don't appear in the world anymore. So I just run that mission over and over and over and over. Like 3 times a day I'm running that mission, because that bounty comes up every single day, it seems. So I can do that one without looking now. I'm getting good at killing Hive. I'm getting very good at killing Hive. And I've just found that I can just pop it on. Like in the morning, if I'm up early, it's very rare that I'm up early. Don't get me wrong. It's very rare that I'm up early. But if I am up and I've got a bit of time spare, I've got half an hour here, I'll just pop it on and have a quick bant about. And because obviously, the missions that you play, you can just replay them. I can go back and play a few older missions, particularly like, for example, we were going to meet up and do the House of Wolves Kell of Kell quest, and I've done a lot of stuff around it, and I had got that one sitting there. But I could go back and play some other levels, ramp it up to hard, put it on heroic, do some other stuff, and make some real progress without having to forward the story on. And that's why I've got back into it so well, because I can just pop it on, mess about, maybe find a cool engram or something, find a few materials that I need. I've done something positive with it, my character has improved slightly, and then when we eventually jump in co-op properly, I'm then that tiny bit more powerful, a little bit more practice than I would have been had I not,
I mean, when you did race back from Clitheroe, what was the thing that you got from your mate Zer?
Okay,
Tell people about your new gun.
Right, so I had a choice
with
here.
teeth.
I had a choice. I was tossing it over in my head for a couple of minutes. I couldn't decide what to buy. He had a couple of very nice items this week. He had the Crest of Alpha Lupi, which I didn't buy in the end, which is a Hunter exotic chest that gives you better revives, so you can revive faster and be revived faster. So it's a very good co-op item, which I thought, that's kind of cool. And if I've got enough coins, by the time the weekend's over, I'll buy that as well. Turns out I didn't. but it doesn't matter. It's there. Okay. I know it will come up again. The item I did buy, however, I have now moved up from my Loner Rebel handgun and my 55 All-Fate pulse rifle. I am now possessing of the Red Death exotic pulse rifle. And really, Red Death is it's the phrase that I use to describe how I play Destiny. I am red, and things around me will die. It's almost perfect.
It's a gun with teeth.
It has teeth on the end. It has a knife sticking out the front. The front bit is spiky. It's got a lovely sort of red slathered kind of paint job / blood stain all over it. And once I've got it leveled up, apparently, when I kill people, I'm going to get health back.
This is this beautiful thing.
I'm going to be unstoppable. And it's a pulse rifle, and it's the one kind of automatic type weapon that I've managed to sort of gel with. I don't really like the auto rifles much, I don't get on with the scout rifles, but the pulse rifles I've sort of really settled into that kind of pop that it does.
So you've kind of switched your preference a little bit, and you've got used to something that's a bit more powerful, but it wasn't the gun that you were happiest with, but now you're really happy with it.
Yeah. I mean, I still dabble back. If I find an exotic hand cannon as well, then I'll probably put that in the rotation as well. And I've always got my hand cannon in the back pocket just in case, because I like the way they both handle. And hand cannon feels like sort of classic me, whereas pulse rifle is the new and improved. So I feel like bonting around like the old days, and I'll pop the hand cannon on and go for a run. Otherwise, it's pretty much pulse rifle these days. So yeah, I bought my new gun and I love it, and I have exotics now, and I've never had them before. Would you believe? 6 months later, I got my first exotic gun. What the hell? Do you think that's
it? I mean, it's been mentioned before, sort of the fruit machine of Destiny. That when you do get something like this, it throws you onto wanting to use the gun more, and to do the weekly strikes and the daily strikes, and do the other missions again.
Picking up bounties as well to kind of get that XP to start getting it leveled up as fast as possible. I even started buying those telemetry things from the weaponsmith, the gunsmith, that you improve the rate of XP for about half an hour, I think, and I've started buying those quite a bit because I've got Glimmer for days, so it doesn't matter, I can buy as many as I want. So I've been doing that and sort of trying to level up a bit fast, and it's exotics take a while. They do take a while, but it is getting there, slowly but surely. It is getting there. So yeah, now I've got gear that isn't shit. Cool. I'm having a lot of fun. But before we talk about the other exotics, because we got those from something else, didn't we?
Well, that's a little.
Let's talk about the Kell of Kells.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about Kell of Kells. So it's the final mission in the Wolves one, isn't it? And I think I'd been saving up for a while. I think you had it still to go, didn't you? Had you done it before we did it co-op, or had you already bashed through it?
Yeah, I'd already done that.
Okay, but we put it in. I think we bumped it up to the hardest one possible as well, didn't we? Because we're mental. And again, what a fucking level!
That's the one? Is it Skolas that
yeah, it's the one that's got the Mega Man jumps.
Teleports across the entire level to have a word in your shell, like.
Yeah.
And the disappearing sort of platforms, and looks pretty as anything.
Because it happens on Venus, doesn't it? I believe, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, it does.
The Venus mission, you go in and you kind of eventually get to like a lift type thing, and you head in, and it takes you up and up and up, and then up a bit more, and up for about a week, and further up, and then when you finally kind of get to the top, it's this bizarre kind of floating, blocky, kind of vexy sort of landscape. It's gorgeous. We had to take a moment to stop and look at it and go like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, it tickles into sort of a little bit of Vault of Glass sort of architecture.
Okay.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that. No, I really enjoyed that.
And we had that delightful moment where I tried to do the Mega Man jumps, where the platforms appear and disappear, and fucked one up and just fell to my death. Just fell to my death, and I could just hear you cackling away like a twat in the background. It
was fun because it was like a little slice of chaos, and I think that's kind of that leads into the stuff that we'd done afterwards. So yeah. I mean, just to give people, I mean, we take things for granted that people know stuff on this podcast about these fair lands, but when Paddy was away from Destiny, which must have been sort of quite painful in itself, before you raced home to visit Zur. You were in, was it Clitheroe, did you say?
Clitheroe, yes.
Yeah, so that's in Yorkshire. For those in the rest of the world, Yorkshire is well known for its batter-based Yorkshire puddings, snuggling up alongside a Sunday roast, steamed vegetables, lots of gravy. Do you know what makes gravy get that extra shimmer shine, that extra boost of taste?
Would you know what is that? What is that? Could you fill me in?
It's Movril. Try an extra spoon of it in the jug, glaze a trickle of it over roast beef, and let the juices flow. Did I mention that it's vegan and vegetarian friendly? It is.
Is it really?
Movril, it's trying harder because it loves you. Paddy?
Thanks, Movril.
Paddy?
Yes.
Did you know Movril's now available in cans?
What?
Our second Movril code for a special prize is, and that's 2-WIN-H00-M4N-1T135. That's T-WIN-H00-M4N-1T135. If you mail that to twinhumanitiespodcast@gmail.com, you'll get a special prize. Everybody gets a special prize.
That is a succinct code.
You
don't need to write that down. I can remember that. It's fine.
So then we went into Prison of Elders. And how much fun was that?
Jesus Christ. Like, I'd heard about the Prison of Elders, and, you know, being a big... I don't really play the PvP much, and it seems like the end game for what we tend to do. You know, it felt like the actual end game for us. Jesus, holy fuck.
Honestly, because I'd seen mixed reports. I'd seen that the Destructo review wasn't really sort of bonkers on it. Eurogame, again, it was actually Tom Phillips, had really enjoyed it and said it was one of the best things that Destiny had. And all I knew going in was that you're entering this prison, and there were different sections of the prison where you get a race of enemies. And that when you defeated enough of these enemies, you then went into the next area, which isn't really the half of it, is it?
No, that kind of settles it a little bit short. It makes it sound like a bog standard horde mode, and that isn't really what this is. No,
I mean, in many ways, the aspects that I liked the most of it was there was nowhere to hide. It wasn't as if you could find a safe corner or a bit of cover, because shit was coming at you from everywhere.
Yeah.
And the point where they then started introducing immediate objectives just changed things up entirely, where it wasn't like, right, I need to kill all these things around me. It's like, I've got to get over there in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Which may sound shit if you've not played it, but it was awesome. I mean, again, we were, rather than being as sort of chatty and laughy and catching up as we have been and enjoyably been in the rest of Destas, we were kind of like, oh my god, we've got to go over there. Right, I'm nearly at sea. It's moving to here. It's going to here, and it was fantastic. And even though we couldn't talk to the person that was brought in to play with us,
let's call him Biggles.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't that far off that. We were still relating to all Biggles is down, and Christ, I loved it to pieces.
So, like, the thing that got me about it is that the individual areas you go into, they're like quadrants of this prison on whatever level you're on. Stunning. These prison bits, like, that's a nice prison, you know? I'd like to stay in that prison. That was a nice prison. These places all look gorgeous. You know, you go in and there's kind of, you know, big open spaces and sort of bits, like you were saying, there's nowhere to hide. There's kind of, you know, bits of sort of levels sticking out in different places you can sort of jump up and over, but you can never stay there very long because things jump in from the sides on you. But, like, from a pure visual standpoint, these places look great, and they're really good places to run around and bant about in. Like, really good. And the fact that, as you say, that it forces you to kind of go into the level to do stuff in the level, and you've got 15 seconds, move idiot, move. Like, I've never known the pressure like it.
Yeah, and I think that even it's a level on from a number of the strike missions where, you know, even on, what was that one that we did the other night again, the Crota mission? The one where
Siege of the Warmind.
Siege of the Warmind, yeah. At least on there are places where you can hide and take a breath, and there's none of that. It's like times 10 from what's in there, and you're literally running around. And there was a point, I'm sure on the last one of these that we were doing, where we realised that one of my sniper rifles was doing shitloads of damage to the enemy, and it was a case of running, jumping, panicking and screaming around to another side of the level where I hoped I might be able to get 5 seconds when I could like pop a few sniper bullets into this lad's head and then just see loads of the hive and stuff run towards me again, or I might have to run into the level because I'd run out of green ammo, and you were railing into it sort of in close quarters and picking off some of the bad lads as well. It was chaos, and the overwhelming feeling as we were going through it was, we're not going to get out of this. We're going to fuck it up. We're going to fuck it up at the final hurdle. Because the moments like before that, when we got those little quests where it was like, right, you need to take this down, or you need to take this down.
It was a Vex Minotaur, I think, wasn't it? It was the worst one.
There were a couple of them. I'm sure there was that one that was like a giant Knight of Crota.
Yeah,
that was a twat as well.
Oh, he was the ending one. Yeah, but the one I remember was the Vex Minotaur. It's like, right, kill this thing before it walks to these 4 points. And
I'd forgotten about that.
Had the modifier on, didn't it? It had the modifiers on. So when you go in, sometimes it gives you a modifier. Like for example, melee damage is now way better. Or in this one, it was special abilities cooldowns are now like 5-6 times slower. So you couldn't just bant about popping off supers at him like you wanted to. Like you had to really kind of work with your guns, and fucking difficult.
Well, because he came out of a portal and he got like a little bit of a thing around his head, so you knew what he was. When he walked into the level, he was more difficult to find, and I'm sure at first we were trying to find him, and when we eventually did it, I think you were attacking him from the back, and when he turned round to face you and sort of try and shoot you, that's when I was a little bit further on in the level, and I was taking him out with sniper bullets, but I'd still got stuff coming at me, and you'd still got stuff coming at you at that point.
Biggles was still running around as well, trying to stay alive too. It was great.
And there were the sort of the wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 of all of these, and then going back into the airlock before the next one went. And we were only on the level 28 version of this.
Yeah, this
and we
is
were
the
level
easy
30.
version.
Yeah, we were only on level. We were level 32 in of ourselves, but we were on the level 28 version. But afterwards, afterwards we were just bouncing.
Yeah, it was those bits between each level as well, where we go back to the airlock, you stand there and go, "Ooh, okay, what's next?" Like, breathe, reload, take a second. But yeah, like I've not buzzed so hard for a long time.
We were bouncing on that, and even after we'd sort of we'd finished it and we'd said goodbye for the night, my heart was still like cannoning in my chest for about an hour afterwards. Whereas I was like, fucking hell. And of course at the end of it, you go into the final airlock and you have to drop down a number of levels, and then it's just a room full of jewels, and then the chest opens and there was a gun and motes of light and shaders and a ship, and it was awesome.
So obviously the thing as well with this, I think it's better to do this with a fire team of 3, because our chap Biggles, as cool as he was, sort of ran off down the hole, and we're like, where are we going? Where? What? Who? Down? By the time we got there wasn't much time left on the clock. I think once one of the chests are open, the mission ends, so you've got to just peel down there to open the chest. So I think you were behind me, weren't you?
I don't know. Didn't you die when you fell in it?
No, I was okay. I took a bit of damage, but I was okay. And I was just screaming, "Run! Move! The time is on!"
There's sort of little drops as you go down, isn't there, before you get to that beautiful room full of jewels.
Jewels room. Okay, so what did you get in the chests?
I got a sniper rifle that goes in my first weapon slot, which isn't that powerful at the moment and only fires 1 round at a time. But if I keep upgrading it, and I think I'll just use it on loads of regular bounties, I think it has the potential to be something a little bit special. But I've got to get there with it first.
It's the No Land Beyond, isn't it?
Yeah, I also might look into getting some armour that favours extra ammunition for sniper rifles, because I had this epiphany the other day. It was like, well, you could do that. So yeah, and I think that's
Johnny Sniper.
Yeah, that might be another one where if I miss, it returns extra damage to the next bullet, or extra ammo to the chamber, or I'm not quite sure. But so I also got I got a ship, which we've called our team sort of Team Shoulders, because both of our new ships have got like these big chunky engines on them.
More like Prison of Shoulders. Yeah.
So yeah, I think I got a few other bits as well, but it's just when you open that chest and you just see like instant Christmas, it's one of the best feelings in Destiny that I've seen from getting loot. Because normally it's like if you get one thing, that's fair enough. If you're going for like an exotic, you'd probably get it from Xur. But to have like 5 or 6 things burst through on screen at once was just like, oh my god, what is it? What have I got?
Dice.
Yeah.
So I got I didn't get any ships, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I got a couple of legendary engrams out of there, which turned into nothing spectacular, but nice items to have. I think they were like chest pieces and helmets that I didn't need, but it's still cool. A bunch of strange coins, couple of motes of light. I got my new rocket launcher out of there. Which is the pink one, which name I've completely forgotten, but it can hold 3 rounds in its chamber, as well as what's in the thing. And apparently, when I've leveled it up, it can home. I have a homing rocket.
Oh, that's cool.
What the fuck?
Because I'd sort of ventured into machine guns for a little while when I was doing a few of the exotic bounties, and kind of got into the feeling like, I've never really used machine guns. These are all right. But then I got this was a little while before this, but I then got a rocket launcher where once it hits, it then detonates loads of little smaller grenades off it, and that's been amazing in the fights that we've done.
I've noticed it. But the other thing I got was another heavy weapon. I got my exotic machine gun. I got my Thunderlord, which I believe is one of the first exotics we ever saw, because that was the one that he picked up in the very first video of Destiny when they showed it off, I think E3 a couple of years ago. And there were 2 guys banting around, and the guy died at the very start of the level. The boss died straight away. He picked up the Thunderlord gun, and I now have the Thunderlord gun, which is a machine gun that shoots electric bullets. It's magnificent and glorious, and the only problem I have now is I've got to choose between Red Death and Thunderlord, and I just don't know. I just can't pick between them. They're both gorgeous guns, but yeah, no, what a Christmas day, just to see the icons just go boom 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 boom, boom down the right hand side of the screen as you get out of the just as you get into the prison. Like, amazing, and as you say, buzzing for days once we finished. Like, I was twitchy. I went into Laura, guess what we just did? And she went, I heard.
Yeah, there is something to be said for playing a game with headphones on and then realising that you've spoken it to the entire town.
Yeah, but of course that horrible realisation at the end, it's like, that was great. And then we think, there's 3 levels harder than this.
Yeah, but we're going to enjoy the heck out of that, so that's not going to be... I am excited to go to the next level up.
Yeah.
I mean, we then had our first foray into a Nightfall strike, with us both being level 32, and we got into it, and the first thing I said was, oh, it's a night.
Yeah.
To which you said, that's because it's called Nightfall. We laughed, I felt stupid, we died, then did it again, and... it was in the day.
Yeah. Which is a dayfall strike, clearly. But it was quite funny. I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed the fact that everything kills you in a single bullet.
Yeah, well, I mean, this was the thing. Rather than sort of battering into a level, laughing, popping off headshots, we were whirled of sort of tight formations. We were back and forth information, and whilst we didn't get to the boss on the stuff that we did, we were purely nabbing a Crota bounty. It was bloody amazing. I don't think we've... I mean, even with Prison of Elders, there was still a degree of being in charge of your own Destiny.
Oh,
and you looked after yourself, but you occasionally chiming in what was happening with you and if you were in trouble and stuff. This was purely, right, this lad's come out from here, I'm going to here, right, I'll try and take him out with sniper. Oh, these guys sort of suffer at the Vestian dynasty.
Yeah.
We use those. It was constantly like, we never shut up, and that was part of the fun of it, because when the first time that we went in there, we kind of got battered a little bit.
Oh, we got battered to fuck. Like, we got battered to fuck. There was that wonderful moment where I died about, 8 times in the space of about 2 minutes. And I was like, I'll keep dying. And I said to you, have you died yet? And you were like, nah. Swiftly died.
But when we went back in, we were motherfucking Starsky and Hutch. We got that. We were really sort of back and forthing sort of quite well. And yet, you'll get used to a way to get into a certain level, or being able to rely on one another. And then when a level changes completely, like when we went from the inside of Mars to a wide open area where there were bigger challenges, we didn't know how to move forward. That was really cool, because everything suddenly within the space of a couple of minutes had changed exponentially.
Yeah, even sneaking out of the cover was difficult as it got later. Like I'm just going to go see what... No, I'm dead. And the safety of the Land Rider sort of tank things you've got, like the safety of those is now... No, you don't have any safety anymore. Again, because one shot and you're done. You're done. Even in the tank, you're done.
Well, we didn't even get to that fucking battle tank that was just a little bit further down than the place we normally got to, and that normally tears people a new arse anyway.
Yeah.
But on this, I'd imagine it's a bag of shite.
I'd imagine that. I don't think we're going to beat that thing. Not very soon, but I'm happy to keep trying.
Nah, I'm excited for this. So to close off as well, we did something that we're not really PvP type guys, but we had I'd had a little bit of a wander into, was it Skirmish?
Might have been the 3-on-3.
Yeah, it's the 3v3 stuff, and I said to you, I reckon that we might get away with this. We might quite enjoy it, because rather than it being sort of, oh, I've shot somebody, I've been shot in the back. Oh, I've shot somebody, I've been shot in the back. Oh, look, they've just been shot in the back.
Hey, look, there's 12 people, and they're fighting just me.
And we had fun with that little bit that we played around in.
It was great.
And I'd imagine if you got a 3 that were chatting between you rather than 2 and a random, it'd probably be even more so. But you especially did really well in there. I
was astonished. I was absolutely fucking astonished how well I was like managing. Because usually, like the last couple of times, I've bantered in because I always jump in when I've picked up the Thorn bounty twice now. Both times by accident, because I was mashing away at the bounty person and just picked it up by accident. Both times I get to the bit where it says kill enemies in the Crucible with void damage and it all falls apart, because I just can't do it. I just physically just can't summon the dexterity to make people die with shotguns faster than they can kill me. But this time, like cracking over with the Vestian dynasty, or as we've taken to calling it VD,
Vestian Destiny,
VD, yeah, giving enemies a taste of VD, like.
That's your joke, not mine. I
laughed.
absolved myself of that, and I laughed out of charity.
Well, I started using mine, then you started using yours, so really VD has spread. Oh,
Paddy.
Anyway, the VD, Vesti Desti, seems to be very, very, very good in PvP, because I found I was killing people.
Yeah, but you must have been smashing that trigger finger, because I wasn't getting the same sort of quickness from that.
I got good at walloping that thing. Like,
yeah, I think it's my multi-tool that's been more successful for me from distance of picking people off. Like if you get into a situation, I saw you and the other guy that were running in, I'd hold back a bit and try and get a little bit of an angle on the door. So if they ran in and sort of shot at you or you're shooting at them, I was kind of adding the bullet cherries
to the bakewell of pain.
The chullets, yes.
But yeah, no, I was amazed how well we were doing. Like, I couldn't believe we won in the end, didn't we? Super hard.
We did. We didn't really get anything major from that.
Nothing spectacular. I had a couple of engrams drop, I think, but yeah, it's a good start though.
Well, it got us a little bit further on in the multiplayer ranks. So hopefully, maybe we can buy some decent gear because I'd be up for jumping back into that. It was fun.
And having it more focused with 3-on-3, you can actually take your time on it. Like you say, it's a bit more tactical. Plus, excellent training for when we eventually decide to foolishly take on the Trials of Osiris. And we'll get mullered, but we'll get mullered slightly less, I think.
Yeah, we'll get mullered and get a hat that looks like a cat.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
It's fine by me.
So yeah, I mean, I'm still. There's been a lot to sort of chow down on in this ep, but I am still really excited for Destiny. I am still really enjoying Destiny, and if anything else, they're going to give us lots to talk about, and we've still got shitloads to do that we're having fun doing. So I'm still on board.
Yeah, same here. Like it's still got me that wonderful, as we were saying earlier, that wonderful sort of flip side of the stuff the PR guy's doing is really stupid. The stuff the game is doing is super fun.
So yeah, that's the end of the latest Twin Humanities, sponsored by the generous folks at Movril. Where's the beef? Where is that beef? Where is it? Where is it, Paddy? Where?
I'm looking. I can't find it.
Oh, it's here. Fucking art's amazing. Bye.
Bye.